Good evening, everybody.
Good
Welcome to
evening.
Old Gray Bricks Messy Monday.
Guten Tag.
We don't have Chris with us tonight because he had, I guess his air conditioning problems followed him to South Carolina, and now he's having air conditioning problems there.
I think it's a likely story, personally.
I think he needs an exorcism rather than an air conditioning repair person. I'm just going to throw that.
Yeah, maybe he's got some sort of a air conditioning ghost that follows him or something.
There's a joke there. There's a dad joke there, and I'm just not.
I was just thinking it sounds like a plot from the real Ghostbusters cartoon, like a ghost that lives in your air conditioning that shuts it off when it's really hot.
I like it.
I'd want it.
So, hanging out in the chat, we have Steve Yogan, alternate candidate, Cosbricks, Brick Jedi, and Moto. Hello, Moto.
Moto.
The moto.
And yeah, it's a messy Monday, so we're going to just sort of shoot the bricks about whatever. And there's Steve. He made it back. Hello, Steve.
Hello. Technical difficulties.
It's okay. It happens.
Spreadsheet problems.
There's another joke there about technical difficulties, and it happens, and it's like, yeah, over the age of 40.
Yeah, in the pre-chat, we Mark said that Chris has you in the far right column of the spreadsheet. So
Yeah.
I don't know if
He's
that's appropriate.
He's got these various columns, and nothing is labeled, and I don't know what anything is for. So there's one column that has a whole lot of email addresses, and I'm like, this must be the one with everybody. So I'll copy that and send that list out. And evidently that does not include you. So
Nope. I was just sitting here going, all right.
so I copied your name and put it in the really long list that includes everybody, so that I know at least your email address is in that one now. So anyway,
Good thing you know the bouncer of this club.
Yeah.
I actually just had a completely random thing that since we got the captain with us tonight, I have a non-Lego question to, or not question, but like I ordered a Nerf shooter for Mr. Small Paul. That's a, I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's like this sort of like, Captain, are you looking?
Oh, I think you just challenged
this,
him with the, I don't know if you're familiar with
Nerf shooter. It's kind of like a revolver shotgun-ish thingy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it. Maybe it sucks. I don't know. But the sort of revolver shell thingy, I thought Paul would enjoy. So
I see. So you know how some people feel about like Busby and other even lesser off-brand bricks?
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's what we think about whatever that thing was.
Okay. So it's evidently it's a something to be sneered at.
Yeah,
harsh but fair. Harsh but
not
fair.
to be given to children. No, it probably is going to work fine for your purposes, because I doubt Small Paul is,
Your
competing
purposes.
in leagues that deal at 200 FPS. So
Your lame
Yeah.
purposes.
Yeah.
I think I saw somebody testing it on a video, and it shoots like 50 FPS or something, and it's like
Which is-
whatever.
yeah, that used to be what stock Nerf blasters fire. Now the stuff on Walmart shelves hits 200. So
Okay, so obviously not frames per second, foams per second?
feet.
Feet
per
per second. Okay, that makes more sense.
Freedom units per second, Jeff.
Dead European monarch foot measurements per second.
See, if you said MPS, I still would be asking what that meant. So
I got a clip that broke.
Oh no, is it a new
Yeah.
style?
Oh,
Look at that.
Oh, it's a new
That's-
style.
Sad.
Ah.
But don't worry. I got another one.
Just one more.
That's been
Just
my
one.
experience
If
with
Chris was
new-
here, I'm sure that he would have several hundred of these for me if I asked for one.
New style clips tend to break fairly often.
Well, this particular Batmobile was in a bag in the basement for some undetermined amount of time, and I think something was pressed at something and clip, snap, break. So, quick repair, and we'll be back in business.
Wasn't that a
That's the-
Roxanne song?
I have a question. What are new style clips?
New style clips?
Yes.
Well, there are. I mean, old style clips tend to be the smaller, thin U, or the smaller, thin C clips, versus these thicker C clips. Does that answer?
But also the ones it depends on what they are, what they're on. Some of them have been known to break a little more easily than other ones. They also changed the style of the 1x1 plate that has a clip facing vertically out of the top of it.
That is correct.
It used to be much more reinforced, and now
Yep.
it's the less reinforced sort of.
But the newer version gives you the ability to swivel some things if you have it in there. So there's actually good reasons for having both.
So the style of clip that you just broke, there was an old version of that.
There is an older version. There are two. Actually, there are
Couple.
three different older
I
versions
just
of it.
shared the Bricklink image with the 4 designs.
Yeah, but this particular one was one of the newer ones that did
Thanks,
actually
Jeff.
break. There you go.
No problem. So he just broke the D one.
Ouch.
Well, I didn't break it. Gravity broke it at some point.
Wow. It happened in your house, therefore you broke it.
Yeah.
Unless you want to blame a cat.
That sounds
Well, I
painful.
could.
The
But-
original A ones definitely broke.
Steve, is this new information to you?
It is. I mean, I know of the ones that come straight up the top. Like I know that they're more like this as opposed to like that.
Yep.
Those ones I have, but I didn't know about these ones.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then the little they're called headlight clips, where it's basically that it's a 1x1 plate with a. There we go. Oh. I
Oh,
thought
sorry. We're
you
still.
pointed to it. There you
Yeah, I'm
go.
trying to pull it up here. Hold on.
That's what she said.
Wow.
That's the best.
Yeah, but there are two versions of that one as well. One that is smaller.
Yeah, that's horrible. Let's
One's
not.
a
Yeah,
thin
wow.
ring and one's a thick
Yeah.
ring. And the neat thing about the thin ring is that you can actually put plates or studs on the other sides, and it will still stay the
Yeah, this
distance of a
one.
brick. Where the thicker ones, while they're more sturdy and less prone to break, you lose that ability, and they actually stick out a half a plate on either
Yeah,
side.
here we go.
Well, those are the same.
Oh. Oh no, this one actually has an indent. Weird.
Oh,
I've
there's
never
a
seen
third
that.
version.
I've never seen that before.
I didn't know about the indent one.
Okay, let me see if I can find the original here.
Wow.
Oh, they only show the two, A and B. Oh, inside. Okay, the C was the one I pulled up, or this one that was X that was a horrible quantity was the one. Yeah, they don't have a good
Yeah.
picture like the other ones.
They may be,
Entertainingly,
well, this is part of that whole they're doing away with these classifications. They're all going to be lumped into the same.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
sad.
This one, right?
yeah, the vertical
Yeah.
clip has had a
Vertical
couple
clip,
different
same.
variations too.
And then of course there's my old favorite, the 1x2 with the bars on the side. There's two different versions of that as well.
The 1x2 with the bars on the side.
Yeah.
Oh, the Space Gun one.
Yeah, the space
Yeah.
blaster thing that we all love, and yeah,
These ones.
Yep.
two different
Which this is a bad picture. Well, you can see.
Oh,
it,
actually,
though.
that's a good
This is lower.
picture. Because
Yeah,
you
this
can
one's
see that
lower.
it's-
This one's higher.
yeah, there's either the mid versus lower, and then the rounded versus flat on the tips.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. And length too, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I think they're slightly longer.
Yeah. Let's
Sadly, not ribbed, but
No.
you know,
And then the tiles. That's
yeah. Chris was talking about the vertical clips. I thought he was talking about the tiles, but yes, the tiles had two
Yeah,
different versions.
that one I'm familiar with.
Actually, isn't there three? Isn't there one with a slit in it as well?
yeah. I'm trying to find it. Yeah, there was. Yeah, there's
There it
that
is,
one
yeah.
too. But hold on.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's a comparison here somewhere. No, even those are
Multiple versions.
these. Even these ones are the same piece, just different inside. Or something.
Different-
I don't know.
Probably different mold injection.
Yeah.
There's a lot of indefinite articles being thrown around between all these and thems and that's.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, there's the one with the slight slit in it, because there's a 1x2 with a vertical clip like this as well.
Mhm.
That comes either with or without the slit, or whether it's a U or not. So they do the
Keep
same
it a
thing.
family show.
Slit.
Anyways, all right. That's enough clip talk.
Hey, this was good perch talk. What can you say?
Hey,
Uh-huh.
that's why I love you guys. I learned something new every time.
Good question.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about Lego stuff. Even though Moto is complaining about which Lego things we're not talking about.
What are we not talking about?
are we not
food
talking-
and idea sets and
The new sets that have been announced.
Yeah, but there's a huge issue with one of them, like the gumball machine, because it's they're going to have a fan vote on whether or not it's going to be a new space torso or a new castle.
Well, no, it's supposed to be
torso.
one of each.
No. It's a vote between the two.
Oh no! What?
A new printed castle crest or a new classic space color.
I thought I read that it was going to be one of each because it's a minifigure gumball machine, so it's not like they only need to do one figure.
Keep up.
I'm pulling up the news.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
there
Aubrey's
was
in
some-
the chat. Hey,
correct.
everybody say hi to Aubrey. Aubrey, you should come and join us. And
Hello there.
Hey, Aubrey.
Come on, Aubrey. Join the fun. There was
But-
so much news that Jeff had to do a spin-off show of pure news. That's how much news.
I did.
there was.
I've been doing news shows. This is my fifth or sixth one, and they're usually about 20 minutes. And I did one on Friday night, recorded it, and it took 53 minutes because there was so many new sets to talk about.
Well, then why are we talking about it?
Yeah,
Go watch
Moto can just go
PW
watch.
stuff.
Show. There
Just
you
go
go.
watch Jeff's show. We're here to talk nonsense. This is Messy Monday.
Yeah, come on, Moto. Go over to Jeff's show. Don't
Hey.
watch it.
Speaking of nonsense, what's the captain working on over there? What do you got?
That's a lot of brick.
Oh wow,
That's dense brick.
that is
Solid.
thick brick.
That's Duplo even.
Whoa.
I am once again and perpetually upgrading my castle diorama, raising it all by another brick, for reasons of math and simplicity of design. And yes, there's a lot of Duplo involved in raising it all up. But now my village has basements and tunnels and secret passageways, and it's all more interesting.
Nice.
That's what I'm.
Awesome.
I got some of the new new space minifigs. I found a couple of them at a store. I did
You know,
order
at this
some
point,
brick
I think-
on May 3rd to get in on the Star Wars stuff. Finally pulled the trigger on the Fang and TIE Interceptor in order to get the commemorative coin because I like coins.
Coins are cool.
You could have just
I
hit
think
me
I
up.
might,
They're only going for $4.75 on Bricklink. The coin.
So what?
The coin is only selling for $4.75. I could have hooked you up.
I've been meaning to get that TIE Interceptor. I just needed a good enough excuse, and the cutoff being exactly the price of it worked. They didn't have it in the store, though. I was hoping to get it in the store, but that was the one current Star Wars set they didn't have. So I ordered it online while standing in line ready to buy my minifig and box of Pab.
I think I might be the only one who doesn't have any of the new CMFs.
No,
I don't have.
Yeah, I'm buying really not very much right now because we're going to Legoland, Florida in a month. So I'm kind of just like, let's just wait and we'll go shopping when we're there.
I managed to get 2 of the Ice Planet lady with her robot penguin and 1 of the Blacktron. Which I wish they'd had another space guy who was mutating on the other half, so you could have gotten both halves of a
I concur, and the same thing with the leg. It would have been nice if there been something, but no.
I think that figure was designed by the same person who keeps giving us Christmas trees with only one wedge.
I believe
And you're like, great, I've got 50 left slope wedges.
maybe they're a fan of One Direction.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm just theorizing.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah.
At least it wasn't me this time.
So, well, I mean, it could be worse, Mark. It could be me who had pre-ordered a case. So I'll get three sets of 3 copies of a full set of figs, and I'm still buying individuals when I find them at the grocery store and at Target. So
Yeah, me and 2 friends went in on a case, so we'll all have 1 full set, but I want more of.
oh
Ice
yeah, no,
Planet,
I've been buying
Blacktron,
up Space Nurses, Mtron, and Ice Planet. I think you know what the funny thing is? It actually takes me less time to go through a stack of boxes with the QR code reader than it did for me to feel them. I'm completely fine with this change to boxes now that we've got this whole science system. And PSA announcement, even though I know that that's public service announcement. But anyway,
It's all right.
if you take I've heard a lot of complaints that if you take the QR coder and you read it, there's a lot of times people were having problems getting it to work. And I experienced the exact same thing. However, I have been finding that if I take the box with my phone and I actually wind up tipping the box a little to an angle,
Oh, it works better.
it will, the ones that it won't get dead on or head on, if I start angling it, blink, it'll read it. I don't know why that makes sense, why it works, how the algorithm figures it out. But when I was at Target today, which I'll get to in a minute, I went through and I was able to scan through an entire case and a half of whatever was sitting there. Granted, I only found 2 Mtron figures and 1 baby figure, and everything else was the other stuff. But I was able to click through them, no problem whatsoever. So, but I had to angle about half of them, and then blink, we're good to go. So.
Yeah, I was standing next to Connor. I went to the Lego aisle, and one of our local lug members just happened to walk up, and I was like, "Hey, stranger," and he got out the thing and scanned them, and he asked me if I wanted any, and I said, "Actually, I'm splitting a case, and I'm very underwhelmed with the whole series, and I'll just stick with one."
Oh, you are so horribly wrong.
I'm allowed to have my own taste, sir.
You are, but I'm allowed to tell you that you're wrong.
It's very underwhelming. Not a single classic space torso in there. They've completely muffed their opportunities. So I only had classic space. I didn't have all these other Mtron, Btron, whatever. So they have no sentimental value for me. In fact, I think they're kind of ugly. So I'm skipping having extras.
I just think you have a lack of imagination.
I just don't have nostalgia.
I grew up on Mtron and Blacktron and Space Police, so
yeah, it has no nostalgia value.
They're my era.
It is kind of funny though, if you stop and think about it. But Blacktron 2, Ice Planet, and Mtron were all in the same time frame.
Yeah,
and they're all 3 in this series.
Yeah, and Space Police 2.
And Space Police 2, yes. But we got Space Police 2 like 4
if they had put some Galaxy Squad in there, I would be looking for them.
Technically, Series 1 had a Galaxy Squad type guy because he had the Galaxy Squad helmet. And the pink space gal was.
Isn't that Galaxy Squad?
No. That would be Insectoids.
Oh no, there was the space line that had aliens.
Did have aliens in it that were
and
bugs.
That's the same chess piece.
He's more of a, I don't know what you want to call him. He's more of like a spidery kind of guy, isn't he?
But that's the same print as the aliens from that series. It's just a different color torso.
Is it?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm not a big fan of the aliens in the Galaxy Squad either.
No.
Don't you know, Jeff? Matthew is very opinionated about his space.
I'm picky. I have high standards, and if they don't meet, I'm not. It's not like I don't throw a lot of money at Lego's way.
I know, and it's not like you're not kitschy for flatware. So we know you've got varying taste on things. That was specifically for Matthew. Nobody else is going to understand it, but I do. Good stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna just take advantage of the fact that I'm on a roll anyway. So there is a.
It's like butter.
It's like butter. It's a slippery slope. If you've got the Target app and you're doing the Target thing, I ran across yesterday where an ad popped up in my wallet that said, spend $75, get $15 in Target cash. And I was like, cool. And it was supposed to be for city sets. So it didn't matter what it was. So I thought, all right, you know what? It's time to get the Space Lab. So I went ahead and grabbed 2, which would take me to $70. And I thought, I'll just grab a CMF and that'll hit me $75. Throw in another CMF to bump it over, but to save. PSA warning: the ad is only for city sets from $9.99 to $75.99 or $74.99. So that being said, I got to go back and spend $6, and I'll get $15 back. So that's going on. Check your Target app. And even though I don't have a convention that I'm going to anytime soon, which means I'm really not in a crunch mode by any stretch of the imagination for any building. So my Habitat project has been like on a slow burn. But I've been playing this silly game called AFK Journey on my mobile device. And because it's like my go-to thing, I'm winding down. I'm sitting on the can. That's the game I'm playing.
TMI.
And Meredith got me thinking about Miniland figures because she's doing her elves thing with her trees that she's been doing. And I had this idea for I don't know if it's a villain or a side character in her display, but she's doing a thing where she wants to get to when she's in Chicago, she's submitting it for awards, and so she can't do it as a collab, so she can't take my figure with her. But she said I can display it with her in Atlanta. So I did this over the weekend.
That was pretty cool.
It's my demon maid assassin, which is one of the characters in this game I play. And I was like, I'm gonna make a figure out of her because she's kind of cool. Because I just envisioned she's got these neon green blades, and I thought, that'll work cool. And the whole MIDI figure thing and the horns for that. And it's like, so this was fun. It took me like 10 minutes just to pose this thing to take a photograph. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But,
May I offer you some constructive criticism, Dana?
as always.
The legs should be longer.
Well, actually, she's actually short. And so if I was to make companion figures, she would be to scale because they would actually be taller.
I see. Well, it just, to my eye, at least, the arms seem proportionally too long.
Oh, well, actually, if anything, her arms are a little long because it was funky to get the hands to work the way I wanted them to work because she's supposed to have gauntlets. So realistically, it's actually that her arms are slightly longer than they should be. That's actually that's where it's at because it was bugging me too, and I may rework the arms. Anatomy is tough with Lego. I don't care who you are, but that's all I got. I've done my bit.
It was pretty amazing. You did all that without taking a breath. Just
well, I try. I'm not a fan of dead air. It's just a thing for me. It's all this theatrical stuff I took in high school and college. Is just unless there's a dramatic pause.
There were no double entendres. I think you failed. Frankly, I think you should have to redo it.
He has high standards when it comes to that. Also,
I got an interceptor. Does that count? I don't know.
I brought my interceptor up so I could show it off, but I'm assuming that everybody's seen lots of pictures of it. But I did go to the store Build, and I did the little mini Yoda, and the Leia is downstairs. I don't remember why I didn't bring it up. And I did not go to the Vader because that day was too busy. But the other big news, and this is the theme for today's hat.
That looks very southwestern.
What does this suggest?
That the Bravo
Somebody's going to Brick Rodeo.
You're gonna go see
Going to
SmackDown.
Brick Rodeo. Officially going to Brick Rodeo. So I want to send out a shout to Mr. Will, who helped me clean up my mess by when I registered for the website, but forgot to buy the ticket. And I was on the waiting list. And so I'm no longer in the waiting list. I'm officially a registered participant at Bricks Rodeo in Austin, Texas, July 4th weekend. So 15 degrees as I have to carry stuff into the convention hall because everybody knows Texas is comfortable on July 4th. But I am very excited about visiting another Lego convention in a different part of the country in a city I've never been to. And I've already plotted out the route in all the counties, and I'm looking at B&Bs and trying to figure out where I'm going to stay. But I'm pretty jazzed about this. So very exciting. Very exciting. Aubrey will be there.
I will be there as well.
Who else?
Going.
Steve will be there.
Steve will be there.
I would taking the van down there. It's a family vacation, so hopefully my Lego doesn't melt in the van.
Yeah, or your family. That would be bad too.
Yeah, more the Lego though.
You don't want to watch those videos of spontaneous combustion before you start driving to Texas. When I was a kid, I thought spontaneous combustion was going to be a bigger problem, along with killer bees and quicksand.
Definitely quicksand. Definitely quicksand.
Speaking of which, we watched a movie last night that came out in like 81. It was basically like Deliverance set in the Louisiana Bayou swamps. It was like a retelling of, and of course, somebody dies from quicksand, and I'm like, see, it was a thing of my childhood. Like
when we were kids, we were like really convinced that quicksand would be a much bigger problem than it actually turned out to be.
And piranhas. I thought piranhas.
Yeah,
piranhas
you watch an episode of Tarzan, Lone Ranger, the Cisco Kid.
Everything
I
in
was also
quicksand.
led to
Johnny
believe I
Quest.
was going to be offered a lot more free drugs.
That's true too. That's true
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The other thing that
Whirlpools,
happened, whirlpools. The other thing that happened, and I don't think I've talked about it on this. I talked a little bit on Jeff's show, but I'm allowed to talk about it. But I built some stuff for Ant Bandit, so he's kicking off a new photo shoot for a client who I will not name. But he had talked to me about building some backdrop buildings, and so I did that. And I learned two things. One, I have a lot less dark gray brick than I thought I had, and as I started building, I used almost every single 1x brick that I own. To the point where I actually had a building that was like this wide that I had to narrow so that I could finish making it as tall as I wanted to make it. So I actually had to like tear it down and shorten it up a little bit. And he did compensate me, so I will be going on Bricklink and blowing some money on dark gray brick. I'm also almost completely out of black, which is also a color I have a lot of black parts, but 1x and 2x brick surprisingly go really fast. It's always interesting when you go to build something and you think, oh, I've got a lot of X, and then you start building with X part or X color, and you suddenly go, oh, maybe I don't have as much as I thought. The one color, though, that I used as a trim on 3 of the buildings was tan, and I still have a boatload of tan. So,
you know what I found? I thought that I had a lot of dark tan.
Yeah,
I don't have a lot of dark tan because, like Matthew, I did do a project for Adam as well that is for a different project, which I actually found that my project will be aired, I think, by the 14th or 15th. So I actually get to talk about that quickly because it's like, I mean, that's why I think he contacted you a month ago to build these facades. I got an email or I got a call on a Sunday. He said he'll call me on Monday. He finally calls me on Friday, says, I sent you an email on Thursday. I need all this by Tuesday. I'm like, okay. But I was able to crack it out for him, so I'm excited.
Which that brings me back around today to the point. The other point was that he asked me like a full month before he wanted these facades, and I had a trip to Vancouver, a trip to DC. My parents came for 5 days, and I have my regular job that I have to do. And I was like, yeah, I can probably squeeze it in there. I probably built 6 facades in 9 evenings. And when push comes to shove, when there's a deadline, I can chunk out a lot of building. Like, I was surprised. I'm like, when I think about just how few evenings were allocated to actually fulfilling this, I'm like, I did have one night where my parents, they went to bed and they got up. My dad got up the next day and he goes, "You built this entire building after I went to bed?" I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, Dad, nothing to it.
It's just a Tuesday. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they went to bed at 10. I didn't go to bed till 12:30, so I got a whole building done in 2.5 hours.
Well, speaking of buildings, why don't we see what Steve's got going on?
I'm 99% done. I've got it lit. I've got it pretty much done. I got like one rooftop to do, and
so where was the part that you forgot and you had to go back and do?
oh, it's right here. It's a 1x2 plate in between the layers, so it's at the bottom. So for me to change that out, I have to like take all the floors out, unhook it from all the Technic structures, deal with the lights because the lights are all daisy chained,
Mhm.
up top. So it's like it's not going to be replaced until I package it up, I think. But yeah, I got all the interior. Since we didn't have Messy Monday last week, I was going to talk about all that, so I forgot what I was actually going to say. But I've got all the interiors done. I finished all the floors. I got a floor in there where Doctor Strange is doing his teleportation thing to the Enterprise, and I finally figured out what I'm gonna do with the rooftop. I made 2 antennas. One of them is glitched, so there's a castle, the CMF Falconer. It's she's up there, but now it's Spidey, so it's Castle Spidey, and he's got the Falcon up on his arm, and there's like a tree that's kind of glitched out. It's got some of the magenta and yellow and all that in there. Yeah, I don't know. I got it all lit. It's all built. I'm just judging now. I'm just sitting back and staring at it and figuring out how much detail I want to put in. It's kind of hard, like when it's there, and you're just like, let me add this, let me add this, let me add this. But really, I'm a cleaner person. Like I don't like to have a lot of clutter, and it's starting to get to the clutter point. So I think I'm just gonna rein it back a little bit. Yeah, that's about all I got.
Sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
Sometimes less is more. However, I like to pack as much crap into it as I can if I'm gonna.
I kind of saved the crap for the inside. So I want it to look nice and clean on the outside, and then they can like peek in the windows and see more detailed stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw on Instagram, I posted pics of Spider Horse. That was another thing. I made Spider Horse, so that was pretty cool.
And
got a lot of positive response from that.
Custom decal for that, didn't you?
Yep. And I made a custom billboard for the outside of it as well. Yeah, it's one perk of working at a sign company. I can like design stuff and print it out and just group it in with real jobs and not have to get charged for it at all.
Nice. I used to have a side gig early on at Kinko's in their print lab, and so I would print. I had access to the big 6-foot poster printer. Those were fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really exciting. I can't wait. Like Brick World's like 36 days away and counting.
It's coming up quick.
Meredith is feeling the pressure right now.
Yes, she is on trees and crystal duty, which are both well, not so much the crystals, but those trees are seriously parts intensive. And
are they?
Oh yeah. Oh, you can just looking at them, you can tell they're parts intensive. But what makes me laugh is that Meredith constantly complains that she hates building things that are round, and she keeps building things that are round. I find it hysterical. Makes me laugh.
Well, let's go and check in with our northern neighbor.
Our Canucks?
I'd say not much, but it's been a busy few weeks. I did go to the Lego store on May the 4th in the afternoon. It was still pretty busy, and I bought 4 figs, and I bought some of the new orange torso thinnies, and I bought the only classic space set that everybody should get with this little guy and the black air tank.
Yep.
But and then all the weird aliens that come with it. They're just weird and a tree. But for the under $20 price point, it was like, yeah, okay, I'll buy that. So I only bought space stuff. Didn't buy any Star Wars stuff, but I did see the Star Wars bag, like the Lego logo bag. I think Data, you were talking about it somewhere.
Yep, the Arabesh bag.
Yeah, the Arabesh bag, and I saw it behind the counter, and so I pointed it to my friend. I was like, "Oh, hey, they got that bag there." And the girl looks at me, she's like after I was done paying, she's like, "Are you a Star Wars fan?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well, yes, not currently because there's not a lot of stuff that interests me anymore, just because it's all rehashes of old sets." I said, the original Star Wars sets got me back into Lego. And then she's like, "Oh, okay." And then she grabs another big bag. My sets all fit in this thing.
Right.
She grabbed another big bag and folded this one nicely up inside
Nice.
and gave it to me. And I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this because it's not like I have a place to hang it or anything. But anyway,
What does that say? Does
It
it say
says Lego.
it's
It's
Lego.
Lego.
That's the right.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
that's
Lego.
in Arabic. The Star Wars
And
language.
even the registration mark is an R. If you look at it,
Oh, is that an R?
that's an
hilarious.
R. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
You don't speak
Um,
Klingon?
9?
And then she
I have
ended
the
up
power
throwing
to
in.
boot you. I have the power to boot you.
She threw in the $5 polybag one as well. I'm like, okay, cool. That's great.
You,
But,
you were getting some Dana
I,
swag
I
there.
pulled a Dana and I've been there once. Like she didn't know me. Like I rarely
She
go to that
probably
store, but,
watches. She probably watches Canadian Brick Builders faithfully.
yeah, sure. And then I placed a Bricklink order for a bunch of wedge plates, like the space
nice.
wedge plates, left and right. So there's like 50 plus or 50-ish of each, as well as A-frames. There's about 500 in here.
Whoa.
Yeah, I cleared out a store on those two items, just for the sole purpose of building my castle floor, which is using like all those wedge plates are obviously in there. These are A-frame structures are all in here. Every 3 studs. I can't show you anymore. Well, actually, I can't. Hold on 2 seconds. I'll just open up. I'll grab 3 A-frames and I'll put them on. So the A-frames actually, if you space them 3 studs apart, well, that's good enough. They actually will lock in.
Nice.
How long did it take you to figure that out?
Well, I've been building the towers with these things for a while, but I figured it out when I was originally building the stable, I guess, for my castle. So it was like 2021-ish. I should probably put a picture on Instagram or something just to show people that. I'll wait till I'm
keep that one in your toolbox to yourself. You never know.
Well, until I'm done. Like I still have the other pieces to build. So, but this is basically a layer of wedge plates followed by the A-frames in between, and then another layer of wedge plates just so it's strong. And I still have to beef up the front still on this, but I was waiting for the parts to come in. They came in. I ordered them Tuesday, and they came in like Thursday. It was like, wow, okay. And then I had to leave for the weekend, so I didn't get a chance to do it. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, you could have just. I guess I could have just put the stuff I bought in that big bag, but anyway.
It would have drawn too much attention. It would have drawn too much attention. It was just easier to slide it in your bag and keep you going.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm trying to think if anything else happened. There's other stuff that happened, and it's just been like 2 weeks since we've been here, and I don't remember. Like I was saying earlier, I've been doing newscasts for Lego News on usually Saturday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They drop, and they're usually about 15-20 minutes. And I did one on Friday night that I broadcast on Saturday morning or Saturday at 2. That was 53 minutes because it was all news, like all sets that had dropped through that week. So yeah, and today we got Duplo sets, which let's not talk about, but anyway.
Is that the Duplo with the space alien?
I don't know. I didn't actually look at them thoroughly enough. I just saw that they had done a Duplo release, and there was also, what was the other thing that released today that they announced?
It would be real
Star,
quick
right?
if the Duplo space sets were better than the City space sets.
Well, that would be helpful. That would be kind of funny, but and the whole thing with the Star Wars, they've released which clone was it? Commander Code? No, Commander Rex.
Fives.
Oh yeah, no. They just released
Commander Rex in the little Y-wing.
Yeah, Rex in the little Y-wing set where the only way you could have got him before that was in the larger. What was I forgot what set it was, but one of the larger UCS style sets. And like they literally did that 2 weeks or like a couple of months apart.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Star Wars fans are not too happy about that, but
well, even more so are the aftermarket sellers.
Well, yeah.
And also, from what I understand, Meredith told me that the Ahsoka that came with the Ahsoka shuttle,
yeah,
she is going to be in the Advent calendar.
Oh, is she?
So she was originally going. What's that?
She's not going to be Christmas decorated or anything.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if you check one of the leakers, they showed all the figures for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Lego's got them listed on its site usually too
Yeah.
by now. So
But they basically did the same thing they did with the Omega, where they originally brought the Omega figure out in $170 set, and then said, now we're going to slap her in the calendar and
yeah,
ship
it's
to the
crazy.
market.
Is it just me, or did it feel really weird that we got the pictures of the Advent sets and it's not even the middle of the summer yet?
That's normal.
That's
Is
normal.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
It's normal to come around this time. Yeah, around this time, but you know.
It
It's
just
sad but
felt
true.
really weird.
Well,
Oh yeah, it
considering
does look like it's okay.
considering what was it, Christmas decorations were coming down and they were putting up the 4th of July decorations. So I mean, at Walmart and Target, that's how it works.
Aren't 4th of July decorations just fireworks?
No, there's like patriotic streamers, banners, stuff like that.
Well, I mean, millennials these days, they take so long to do anything. You have to start after Christmas. So,
There you go.
Fair enough. Oh,
Shots fired.
Well, I haven't done a ton of Lego, but I did build the Batmobile, the 89. So it's the 89 Batmobile set. Comes with the Joker, like the Jack Nicholson Joker, I guess. I thought it was a little weird they didn't even give him like a weapon or anything, or they could have given him like the gun with the bang flag on it or whatever or something.
Exactly.
But and that's a small nitpick. I also took the liberty of removing. They had this black wheel knob thing on the side of it that stuck out the side of the car, because it has the ability to, you take these panels off, and then it has the machine guns that pop up just like they do in the movie. So that knob flips those up, but you don't need it to, because the mechanical greebly area here is open and you can just sort of push them up like that.
There you go.
Does it have the ability? Does it have the ability to get really skinny?
No, this one, I guess this is from the first movie, but it didn't do all that. So, but I thought it's a pretty decent model. I think it looks pretty good. It has the flame effect thing built into the back of it.
Oh, I like that.
It's sort of fun. It really annoys me that it is not centered.
Yeah.
So it's not centered.
That's funky.
That's just, I probably will leave the spuddy flamey piece off of it anyway, and just sort of have it with, I have the other Batmobiles on the shelf over there. I'll park it next to the other ones, but I think it's a pretty nice model. It looks pretty good, Greebles look pretty good. I don't like these light gray parts under here. I think those should have been dark gray, but
yeah, that definitely should be dark gray.
Yeah. The roof, you pop the roof off, got Batman. I thought it was interesting. This Batman, his cowl actually has the eyes as part of the cowl.
Oh wow!
And not he doesn't have like the white headband that shows So
actually, I like the fact that they're now doing that. That's cool.
Although you have his face or whatever, and he doesn't have hair or anything.
They didn't include a hairpiece?
Nope.
Figures.
So I don't know. Just a couple of odd omissions from the set, but it's okay. I really only bought it for the Batmobile itself. And for some reason, my set did not come with the sticker sheet, so I need to call customer service and ask them to send me a sticker sheet for this set, because it really only matters for the control panel there in front of Batman. There's supposed to be a sticker right there in front of him. And
it wasn't wedged in the box somewhere?
I couldn't find it. I dug around in the box and the instruction book and everything and could not find it. If it, I mean, I've looked around on the floor, because it probably would be one of those
I was going to say it's probably one little sticker.
And I've looked around to see if I dropped it or but I mean, my floor here is actually pretty tidy, so I don't really know where I could have dropped it. But
probably find it after you call them.
Yeah,
probably.
Someday, years from now, I'll be moving and I'll lift something up and there's that Batman sticker sheet. But
they're really good about sending stickers, though, which is cool.
There is a little trunk that you can open there, and it does have a.
Does it have a bottom in it?
It has whoop, and I'm throwing pieces on the floor.
He's gonna find
Take a sheet.
It has a weird version of the. I guess this is supposed to be his grappling hook launcher, but it holds the thing sideways, so it's sort of like a
That's quirky.
weird. Yeah, I don't
I
know.
remember he points it at the Joker, and then it splits and shoots sideways, and then he
Oh,
slides
yeah.
down it, and the Joker goes,
yeah,
"Where does
okay.
he get those
Okay.
wonderful toys?"
Yeah, I suppose it's that specific one.
And Mark was saying that it was the 89 Batmobile, and I was joking before the chat saying it's also the 89th Batmobile that Lego's produced by now as well. So
Yeah, but I thought they did a nice job of some of the curves on here. You know, you have the fender curve, and then you have the nice sweeping curve for the bat wings on it, and they put a couple of the little inverted arches there. They're
yeah, that's nice.
they're snotted on to the back there. It's these little inverted.
Oh yes, nice.
Oh, yeah.
So those are sort of snotted in the right there, and I thought that was nice. It looks good. It's a
Mhm.
nice thing.
They're doing the same detail or similar detail on the dark blue one that's coming out for the was the animated series version.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm excited for the animated series version. I'm not super fond of it being dark blue because on the cartoon, the dark blue was only used as a highlight color, and I feel like that's a misunderstanding of, you know, it's supposed to be black or dark gray, and the blue was just to sort of differentiate it from the background. And
I'm actually hopeful that, because I think the dark blue is actually much darker than they show it on the box. I think it's misleading to make it seem like it's going to be too bright, because half the time I'm finding dark blue pieces in my black bag when I'm sorting. So I think it actually is going to turn out to be pretty good, but we'll see. Time will tell.
yeah,
And if you build it in the dark,
maybe in person it'll look better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm hoping for.
And I'm super surprised Matt hasn't talked about the new Lego cat set that got announced today.
It's the wrong color.
I'm just saying it's a cat.
Supposed to be
Well, or
dark
Dana,
My
actually, now
cat.
that I think about it.
I've
I saw it.
never owned a tuxedo cat in my life.
Doesn't Dana have a cat that color somewhere in that house?
No, I do not have a tuxedo cat color. No.
Okay.
Oh, Dana, you should get another cat.
No.
But it would be funny to build that and put it on the floor near your cats.
Well, no,
Just
but
in case they do
I
that.
already have a Lego cat that I built. Unfortunately,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
it didn't survive the trip home from Chicago last summer because it was in a box on the top of Meredith and Brian's vehicle. So I need to rebuild it. But now I have a reason to rebuild it. So I'm going to rebuild it.
So you had to put it down, you're saying.
Oh, no. It's
Someone
just
else
taking
put
a
it
nap.
down.
It's just taking a nap. It'll recover.
All right.
Yeah, we have shots fired.
Super.
Actually, the Super Friends Batmobile was a very cool version of the Batmobile. I always liked that one.
I would agree. I like it.
The other big news that happened for us folks here in Atlanta is that we got our invoice for Bulk Lug. And so by the end of the month, we should have 250,000 parts dropped off and need to be sorted. So this will be interesting. This will be my first time sort of doing taking the leadership role from the very start. So, and of course, the parts are showing up right in between my two 12-day trips, which is really convenient. Anyways, why could it have been after my two trips? But anyways, I suppose that's probably the way Bulk Lug always is. It's not when it's convenient for you. It's when when Lego gets around to your number. So
So wait a minute, I may have missed this somewhere along the way. So I know you're going on a 12-day trip, but then you
Yes.
have another 12-day trip after that 12-day trip?
I have a trip each month this summer. And this is after going to Vancouver and DC in April. I'm going to Denver, Colorado for a nephew's graduation in May. And then in June, I'm going to a workshop in Bronx, teaching stats at minority serving colleges in non-stats classes, which I'm going with two other people from my college. Well, they will be there. I am driving to collect counties. And then,
Of course you are.
and then in July, it's the epic road trip to Bricks Rodeo,
Bricks
where
Rodeo,
I will
yeah.
also collect counties. So by the end of 2024, It's going to be a 222 county 2024, baby. We are making a major stride towards 3,144. And well, knock on wood, by the end of 2024, we'll be up to 59% of U.S. counties visited. So it's great for the side project, the side quest of visiting all U.S. counties. Not so great timing in terms of lug bulk arriving, but or bulk lug, as some people like to say it.
Actually, that's everybody likes to say it.
Seriously,
But-
I mean, it's synonymous anymore. You can say it either way. Tomato, tomato. Bulk,
But,
bulk, whichever.
But I'm excited about my parts. I got some parts coming. We had more people locally participate in our order process this cycle than we did in prior cycles. And so I pulled up the total number of parts ordered last year, thinking we were going to exceed it. But then I forgot that Dane and I personally managed to put like 6 dots on there. And so between Dane and I, there was like 75,000 dots that were ordered. So we actually have fewer parts coming this year, even though we spent about 20% more in euros. So in monetary value, it's significantly larger order. But because there aren't a bajillion dots coming, the number of parts is actually smaller than last summer's bulk lug. So
Which is interesting.
it is interesting.
Which actually will probably mean that it's still going to take us longer to sort this year than last year, because most of those dots went to you and I. So
Yes.
it was very easy for that large chunk of the order to go sorted quickly.
And we could use the scale and
Yes.
just go pour it on the scale. Yeah, it's about right. Okay, let's go to the next cup. So
This year,
we probably you
it might
probably
take a little
sorted
longer.
you probably sorted 75,000 parts in like 15 minutes when you had the scale.
Well, no, it still takes a little bit of time to
Okay.
do that, but yeah, it's probably going to take. I bet you it's going to take us slightly longer to sort all the parts, or it's going to require more people than we've been using in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I've already got about 4 new people who volunteered, and with one of our board members now being on the south side, we kind of have like 2 distribution and collection points. So I do plan on taking advantage of more labor. Ideally, we might get it sorted faster, but we'll have to wait and see how it all works out.
Actually, Moto, you are incorrect. The land no longer cares about if you talk about lug bulk. Oh, well, now that you guys are all asking about this, I will
That's correct. You just can't talk about the prices.
just can't talk about the pricing. That is the only thing you can't talk about, which actually is kind of silly because even that is kind of defunct. So I found out something last week that I also thought was kind of interesting. That was a misnomer that people are very like, oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. Filming inside of a Lego store. There was a big to-do about that you couldn't do it, because I even got tapped on the wrist once because I had done something in the store. Now, I luckily did not do the 3 things that they tell you can't do, which is A, you can't film any children, you can't film the POS system, and you can't film any prices, which I think is kind of strange.
There's 4 things. You have to keep your pants on too.
Oh, well, that's only because your store because of Steve. But
Yeah.
yes, that is a 4th thing.
Yep.
However, and as a matter of fact, this particular ruling about not being able to film in the store is what caused Emmasaurus to leave the land, whether it was voluntary or involuntary. I forget which it was, but she left because of a big to-do about that. And I believe, from what I understand, in 2022, they abolished this rule, and it's no longer a requirement that you can't film in the store. However, at Sugarloaf during Atlanta BrickCon, there were several influencers who were at the store, and they were all filming and they were doing their thing as influencers do. And the store manager and also the district manager were both having a freaking conniption about it, because they're not supposed to do this, which is really funny that the district manager didn't know that this was no longer a thing. I understand that the store manager, because the store manager there is very stickler to the rule. Even if it's a dead rule, she still follows it, just because what if they put the rule back in place again? I'll be covered. However, but the district manager should have known, because this is not something that is a thing anymore. But yeah, so this story came up over the last week, and I was like, that is hysterical. So yes, but like lug bulk, we can talk about it. We just can't talk about the prices. So, that was my TED Talk moment.
One of many.
One of many. I know. All it takes is give me a topic, and I'm off. I'm off to the races.
One of many this hour.
It's been a few weeks. It's you know what happens when I'm gone for too long. I come back and I got to catch up. It's like I got a quota I got to reach. It happens.
I went to a birthday party, and yes, this is Lego related. I went to a birthday party this weekend, and Lego came up a couple of times among people who aren't really AFOLs, and then one of my friend who was hosting the party, he was like, "Oh, well, Matt's really into Lego," and then they turned to me and they were like, "Oh, what do you build?" And so of course I like opened up my Instagram page, but to me it was just another indication of how I think Lego is becoming more an adult thing, or like people are going, "Oh yeah, adults build with it." So I mean, this was not a this was just random people in their 40s and 50s, so sort of our age cohort, and they all seem to not bat an eye when I'm like, "Oh yeah, you know, I have a Lego room in my house, and you know, and I
To
build
your
stuff."
face,
And
anyway.
maybe, but they seem
Hey! Don't do that.
But people asked to see pictures. I mean, if they thought it was a giant weirdo, at least they wanted to see how weird I was, I guess. But I don't know. I to me, it felt different than pre-pandemic. So that's just an observation.
Well, I would definitely agree because I mean I will run into adults in the Lego aisle who I will even be like, you know, I would be having a random conversation with people in the Lego aisle. I've walked into the Lego aisle overhearing other adults having random Lego conversations. So it's becoming more common versus not common. So and all that entails. There was something in that tirade I was going to comment on, and now I forget.
Dana, you said Amasaurus is no longer in land? You sure?
That's correct. And I believe this is actually that she wasn't, or that she may have left the land at one time and then maybe came back, or maybe I'm mistaken that she wasn't the one that left the land. But I remember there was a big to do about her not being able to film in the store. So maybe that's what I'm remembering. And it was Holly on Film who left the land. Okay. Amasaurus is actually still a part of the land.
I was gonna say because she's still doing like reviews and stuff. So
so no, she is still part of the land, but Holly on Film is not. But the whole to do about not being able to film in the store, that did come up with Emma though. When that happened.
You got to be careful, Dana. You're going to make a controversy, and then it'll be all over social media. And
if I can win a Spoon Award for the day, that's all I strive for. Come on.
And a certain store manager will be like calling me saying, "Can you talk to this person in your log about this?"
Nope, you can't talk to him anymore because he doesn't care.
I got chewed out about things I have absolutely no control over. No control.
Exactly.
Somebody at the Lego store was upset that people were buying Lego and then selling it at higher prices at the convention down the street. And I was like, "Yep. What do you want me to do about that?"
Nothing you can do.
Obviously, go to a store, buy some sets, and sell it to them at higher prices.
I'm like, I don't run the convention, and I can't tell people what to do. And there's like certain laws called free market, and
Well, you know, and I gotta give Linda a little bit of leeway on some things because for whatever reason, that particular store, and I don't know if this is nationwide or if it's just her store, but her store would get lots of returns for gift cards and whatnot, and like things bought like in Texas and then returned to here in Georgia or something like that. And I think that's why now there's a lot of changes on return policy. But yeah, she was telling me at one point in time that they would get, you know, a rash of returns from outer state Lego stores. And, you know, what they would wind up doing is giving them a store gift card. But it's just like some weird scam that was going on. Then that's now why it's more difficult for you to do returns at Lego stores than it used to be.
Interesting.
So yeah. So I think she kind of got a little gun shy on a lot of things from that type of stuff, I guess.
Well, I know from the action figure collecting world that scalpers would buy up new waves, and then that Princess Leia figure that never sold, they would dump them all. They would take them all back to some Walmart, and then the pegs would be absolutely jammed, and they just return the ones that they couldn't mark up and turn a profit on. So I don't. Is that the motive? Is somebody buying sets in Texas, and when they can't flip them quickly, they're returning them in Atlanta? That seems a weird.
I don't know. There was some scam being done in some way, shape, or form. I'm not quite sure which particular scam it was, but yeah.
It seems like
that is why you now can only do a return with a receipt that's 90 days or less, and then if after 90 days, I think there's something different they can do. But
personally, I only ever do an exchange because there's always another Lego set I want.
Oh yeah. No, well, no, but these rules I think were put in place for more along the lines of to stop criminals.
No, I get that.
Not the average AFOL trying to do something. I don't know.
Because I've gone in there and they've said, "Well, do you have the receipt?" And I'm like, "No, I don't have the receipt. Like, I bought it a year ago." And they're like, "Don't tell us that." I was like, "Oh, I bought it 5 minutes ago, but I lost the receipt." And they're like, I just want to do an exchange. I'm gonna buy more Lego. It's not like I'm not asking for cash here. I just want different Lego than the ones I walked out of the store with last time. So,
exactly.
Well, speaking of the GWP, so. I get home. First of all, I don't want to get our store. Well, I don't want to get a different store manager in trouble, but we did not go on the 4th, but we got our Arboresh bags on the 1st, and they were very kind. And I think they knew that the kinds of people who show up at 10 o'clock on May the 1st are exactly the kind of people who also want the bag that has the Arboresh lettering on it. And so if you were there at 10 o'clock and you bought the TIE Interceptor, you got one of the bags, so that was nice. It saved a trip back to show the receipt and get the bag. What was I talking about before?
I lost what train of thought you were on.
I don't know.
I think you're throwing Emma Source under the bus.
Yeah.
No,
Oh wait, that was Dane.
Yeah, that was Dane. But I forget. Oh, I go. Okay. So I buy my TIE Interceptor, get my gifts, and then I went, 160 was the magic number to get the 3 gifts, right? And I thought, is there anything else in the store that I would buy at Sugarloaf when I go to do the Yoda build tonight? And I thought, the Yavin base is 165, so it's like a perfect thing if you just wanted to like pick up the gifts again. And I thought, I think I already bought that. And so I started going through my pile of shame, trying to figure out what I had bought and what I hadn't bought. And I had ordered online the Vader's Throne Room, forgetting that I found 2 of them at 40% off at a Walmart. So that's
But I remembered.
But Dana remembered because he was counting on getting that Vader's Throne Room at 40% off. And he goes, I thought you had one for me. And I'm like, I see it here. And then like, I went down to the basement. I'm like, oh, here it is. So I have a Vader's Throne Room that I paid full price for that is going to arrive at my doorstep sometime the next week. And I'm going to take that over and exchange it for some other Star Wars Lego that I didn't buy. And as I walked out with my Yavin set, I thought, I really hope I don't get home and discover that the Yavin set is like under something else, because I'm not sure if I bought this already or not. So like,
when did they make a bathroom set for Vader? Throne room?
I got it.
It's the Emperor's set. The Emperor's throne.
You said Vader's throne room.
Someone did.
I said the wrong thing. I'm not like Dana's spouse who knows everything in Star Wars trivia, so I get things wrong. I'm a fan, but not that much of a fan.
I was just giving Mark a chance to end the chat because the bad jokes were starting to come out. But,
I think we should go ahead and do that anyway.
Well, it does sound like an opportune moment, Jeff. So thank you for that segue into.
Boo, Jeff. Boo.
Yeah, I know I suck.
Dana's got the space segue going by there.
In Jeff's chat, we just go another 45 minutes. I mean, that's what we do.
Well, I think we should wrap it up because we've it's after 9 o'clock is our usual time.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks to everybody in the chat for hanging out with us and chatting with us and everything. And I don't know if we're going to do a Thursday show this week or not. We have to check.
I think we're taking Thursdays off for the summer.
For the whole summer?
I think so. Well, at least for the foreseeable future until Chris probably gets a home. I think
until he gets settled. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's still
I'm going to be on the
transit.
road half the summer anyway. So
yeah.
Okay. In any case, thanks to everybody for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next week for another Messy Monday. So, as Chris would say, be awesome and build awesome and be kind to your neighbor, and have a good week. And we will see you guys next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye,
See ya.
everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.